Welcome to the Real Reporters. It's a special edition episode of The Last Jedi. I am your host. Tonight I've got with me Mr. Todd Harden
Hi.
and Mr. David Feldman.
Hey, whoa.
Hey, whoa.
No one else could make it because they haven't seen the movie and we didn't want to spoil it for
Also,
them.
Kevin's at work.
And Kevin's at work.
And Jim's
because
probably at work.
Womp womp.
Because retail.
So just real briefly, we are going to discuss a little bit about the movie, but Todd will then give a full spoiler warning. And at that point, you'll want to tune out of the show because we're delving into the full kit and caboodle tonight.
Who's Kit?
I don't even know.
The kitten caboodle?
Full
Kit and caboodle. Means everything.
I don't know, man.
It means
it's just one of those things.
I know it does. I know what it means.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
Never mind.
So, David.
Yes.
We couldn't discuss this yesterday because of you and Michael.
I apologize.
Now that you've seen it, thoughts?
Without spoiling it, just give us a few brief thoughts.
No spoilers yet.
I felt the movie was I think it was disjointed in my opinion.
I agree.
It was a good movie overall, but I felt that it tried a little too hard to be like a Marvel movie, and it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth on that aspect.
Now, my response to people that have been saying that, because all the things I've seen on the internet community is there's a bunch of plot holes. I'm like, it's the second movie of a trilogy. Aren't there supposed to be plot holes?
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Exactly. It's the second act. It's not fulfilled. You know, it's a 3-arc saga.
Right.
It's why it's called a space opera. It's the same thing happened with Empire. Same thing happened with whatever the hell that second shitty movie was that Lucas created.
Attack of the Clones.
That one.
Which was my favorite of the 1 through 3. I don't know why.
I would disagree with you on that, but that's always not part of this discussion.
I know.
But what I'm saying though is that this is not abnormal. I had a feeling that they were going to do certain things, and they did, and so it's kind of satisfying on that end. But at the same time, you're left with that one feeling that you get from Empire Strikes Back, especially what the hell is going to happen next,
which is what they wanted.
Oh, absolutely. It's a cliffhanger.
Well, nobody wanted to be compared to Empire because you can't do that because that's just setting you up for failure.
Right. Well, and I also think that they did a really good job of solving, kind of open plot holes or not plot holes, but plot threads, while also ripping apart an entire new ones.
Yeah. It gave me quite a few questions. And answered some of the ones that I had from the last one.
They answered a couple of them, but they made a whole bunch more. I felt that
which is what you're supposed to do.
No, not at all. There's a lot. I'll point out a few things.
Okay, during the spoiler part.
And hopefully we can solve them. If not, then it'll prove my point valid.
Now, let me ask you something. Now, the first series had a romance in it that was integral to the plot. The second trilogy had a romance thing that was essential to the plot.
Right.
So far, we don't have one. Would you say I'm wrong?
Possibly.
Oh, hold on. Matt Pet's trying to ruin everything. Is it spoiler related?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the one that was obvious in the trailers, right?
No.
Okay. Just make
sure. Well,
I don't think.
Okay. Just real briefly before, because I'm itching here.
It's heading that way
at this point.
Okay, look. Let's just make it perfectly clear to everybody. This is a Star Wars discussion about a movie that just came out.
Right.
And this is one of those movies that's literally impossible to talk about without
I'm trying to give the people at least 5-10 minutes without a spoiler.
I don't think that's happening.
We got a couple more minutes. Before we do that, Jeff, what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was fantastic. And that's what I've been telling everyone.
Right.
However, this movie has so much in it that it's overwhelming.
Too much?
Not too much. It just has a lot of
it's very busy
shit going on. It's very busy.
Okay.
And I'm definitely. That's why I'm watching it again Friday,
Okay.
because I feel like I
You should
missed
see
something.
it in 3D.
I'm not seeing it in 3D.
Dude, you should see it in 3D.
No,
David
we've
saw
had
it in
this
3D,
discussion.
right?
I saw it in 3D. It's amazing.
Was
in
it
3D.
was it additive or was it just fancy?
It did not detract or add anything to the movie aside from depth. So
Which means
basically, what
it'll
it
do
did,
nothing for Jeff
Yeah.
other than piss him off.
Plus, it
No,
darkens
like I'm
the
not talking
picture.
about like that cheesy ass depth.
Did it darken it? Was
No.
the movie significantly darker? Because this
Well,
movie was
maybe
pretty
to Jeff
fucking
because
bright.
apparently he's light sensitive. But
Are you force sensitive?
No, I'm. It was not shot in 3D. It's gonna be
Right.
darkened.
it's not that dark. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
oh,
you're
not that
just
dark, but
Ben!
it's darkened.
bored. Why do you need everything to be ultra bright and super
I
saturated?
don't
That's
need
not
it to
how
be
movies
ultra
are
bright
supposed.
and saturated.
That was like the
viewed
second
in the
episode
way-
of this show, by the way.
I wanted to be viewed in the way that it was originally intended,
Okay,
This was the
Which is
second
not-
episode.
which is not like 10 nits darker than it should be.
Nits.
10 nits. Are you
You're a
really
nerd.
shitting me about 10 nits? Do you even know what 10 nits is?
Do you know what a parsec is?
Yes, it
So-
is a literal measurement of time.
No.
No, sorry, it's a measurement of space.
It's
How
a
about
measurement of distance.
that? Well, in Star Wars, there's a measurement.
No, it's not.
Time.
It's distance still.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Han Solo either A, misspoke, or B, intentionally said something different to Obi-Wan to see if he said something different. Understood that. But there's also a theory about that as well, which I love that theory.
Which will be
I would like to know this theory.
which will be completely solved in the Han Solo movie.
I hope so. I hope so.
I'm not
The
looking
theory
forward to that.
is that the Millennium Falcon can get to 0.99999% of, or 99.999 of light speed. Therefore, time dilation happens. And he's older than most people. But that means he can also fold over space. And that's, I thought it was funny. I liked it. Which you should watch Because Science with Kyle Hill on the Nurse Network. I love that show. It's so good.
Well, so Todd, what
Yeah.
did you think?
I enjoyed it. I am not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. Like, I like the movies, don't get me wrong. But I hate to tell you, the first ones that I saw were 1, 2, and 3. It was not 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, so you're not like a purist. You're
No.
just kind of like a guy that
I
sits
love
there
a
and
good
enjoys them.
story.
I got you.
And guess what? 1, 2, and 3 were just fine with me. They did not bother me.
Well, I mean,
Even
I can
with
see,
Hayden Christensen's awful acting.
I didn't
No,
care
I-
about that. I cared about the subplot of the politics in the galaxy. That the
That was
romance
interesting.
made
I'll
nothing.
give you that. It was
did
very
nothing for
fascinating
me.
to watch the Emperor take power.
Right. Watching the entire world focus on one thing, it was interesting to me. And then I watched 4, 5, and 6 and got a little bit more confused.
trade negotiations.
I
That's-
wanted to know more about the Trade Federation.
Oh
And
my
when those
god.
two dudes died really quickly in the first movie. I keep saying first movie, and I'm so sorry for people that are purist. Whenever I say first movie, I mean one.
Yeah,
That's
Phantom
the
Menace.
first canonically.
Chronologically speaking.
It's 1, 2, 3, Rogue One,
Oh.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Todd, I can't handle it anymore.
All right, cool. So hold on one second. I gotta turn on something
What's
people
wrong?
that start with us muted. He's ready to spoil it.
I know he is. I can tell he's ready to twitch.
So for the people watching, I put up a spoiler alert. I'm giving you a couple seconds. So like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Luke dies. Cool. So
Jesus Christ, Todd.
welcome to Spoiler Town. Population 3. What'd you?
Luke does not die.
No,
he
he-
becomes one with the Force.
So
He dies.
I pointed this out to a couple people.
He loses his manifested flesh and
No,
blood
shut up.
body.
No,
Whatever.
No. So I have a question, and I want you to think about this because it really made me think.
Okay.
Okay.
What was the point of him making that illusion to prevent himself dying if only he was to die right after doing it?
This is the best explanation I got, and it actually came from Julia earlier today.
Okay.
Okay.
We should have got Julie on this.
He didn't have time to get there.
He had an X-Wing in the water.
He had an X-wing in the water.
Which is
But
nowhere
he
near
did
as
not-
quick as the Millennium Falcon, which is what you just said, Todd.
That's true.
I understand that, but We also don't know if the X-wing was
Working.
running.
Yeah.
We also don't know, exactly where they were. So all he did was he's like, you know what? I need to help them. This is the best way to do it. And so he honed in on Leia because he had the biggest connection to her.
Obviously, she's force sensitive because what the fuck?
Yeah.
She can fly?
We'll get to
She's
that.
like Palpatine.
So what she did was she basically pushed herself into a force trance, which allows her to slow her heartbeat and breathing. And then
Not even that part. She was in a vacuum and she started to fly.
That's what I'm saying. She forced herself into a what they call a Jedi sleep.
Well, I've seen that part. Yeah, I know that part. I'm talking about how she moved.
Yeah, I mean, all she did was
force pull herself.
Yeah, basically.
All right, so does that mean she was force sensitive the entire time? And every time she said, I had a bad feeling about this?
Now, the thing you got to realize is they abolished the extended universe.
Don't you talk about the midichlorians.
But what they ended up doing was taking in a lot of some of the better ideas about the universe, where Leia is force sensitive. She eventually does get trained in the Jedi arts. And, you know, Ben Solo is lifted directly from the extended universe as well.
Right.
So there are some elements to those who are Star Wars fans who know more about the extended universe. They do implement a lot of those things in this continuation of the saga.
Midichlorians are dead.
Thank God.
Long live midichlorians.
There's two things that I also noticed when she did that. The first thing that I noticed is that the Resistance did not freak out. They were just like, this is a common thing with her. Or not common, but
did they see her flying at first?
Yeah,
yes, they did. They
watched her do the whole thing.
Float.
Right.
Jesus.
So obviously they've seen this happen before, her demonstrate some use of the Force before. Okay. And the other thing I thought was she's probably more focused on kind of keeping it low key, because she would probably scare the fuck out of everyone in the Resistance if all of a sudden she was just using lightsabers and shit all the time.
It was considered. The thing is, though, even in the extended universe, they did mention the fact that she was never really interested in combat or becoming a full-fledged Jedi. She just happened to want to control her powers so that way it wouldn't affect her everyday life, as her force sensitivity is manipulated as more and more force users are being awakened when they were creating the new order.
Now, you two correct me if I'm wrong, but no books before Disney buying Lucasfilm are canon anymore, correct?
There's a couple of ones that are in line with the new saga,
but that was since then,
and that was since then, correct?
Yeah,
they have pretty much
anything
wiped
written
out the
before
entire extended. Yeah.
What about in the video games are non-canon?
The video, I think they made the
KOTOR's not. I know that's not.
What?
I know Knights of the Old Republic is not.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Dash Rendar, Shadows of the Empire.
Oh. Okay.
I think that might be considered canon just because it doesn't necessarily affect...
It has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
It's probably the Legends stuff that they talk about.
They've definitely lifted elements, like David said, Thrawn, for instance, is actually in Rebels.
Right. He's in Rebels.
Right.
Well, Rebels is a Disney animation, so it counts.
No, that's what I'm saying. But Thrawn was before Force Awakens. Before
yeah. Oh, okay.
So, they reactivated
but wasn't he in the old movies?
No, he never was. Thrawn is a
I'm thinking of Tarkin. Sorry,
that was created from the extended universe.
I get Timothy Dalton.
Yeah,
and apparently the new Battlefront game will, in fact,
both
tell
the
you
Battlefront
more about
games
what
are
happened
canon.
with the fall of the Empire,
correct,
and how Palpatine had created different scenarios in case of his death, because his true belief was that if an empire fails, it should no longer be existing and a new one should take its place.
Right. There's a droid that actually it's like the Emperor's droids that actually goes around and tells them his last orders. But man, I want to get back to this movie though, because there's so much in this movie. The opening scene, for one, was pretty fucking fantastic, because it basically said this is the type of movie it's gonna be.
I've already forgotten.
It's gonna be frantic, and it's gonna be funny, and it's gonna be serious, and it's gonna be Basically everything.
I was like, opening scene. What are you talking about? Where Luke throws the lightsaber? That one. Okay.
Like, no, seriously. Like, well, no, not even that. I'm talking about fucking Poe Dameron trolling Hux.
Oh yeah.
On the actual battle station, he's like, okay,
Yeah, I'll hold.
I'm holding for Hux.
Yeah, I'll hold.
I'm here.
Look, I did not like that.
No.
I knew you wouldn't.
What?
I knew you wouldn't because you're fucking bitter old man over there.
No, you misunderstand me entirely. You got to realize they created Hux in the first episode not first episode, but the first part of the series, the new saga, as some sort of like true general, somebody who's in power, who's in command. He's like an attack dog for Snoke, and he's somebody who is almost fanatical in his belief in the
First Order,
Snoke himself, and in the New Order. And then to have Poe Dameron suddenly do this and make him look like a punk, and then him continually to look like a punk throughout the entire movie, complete disservice to his character from the first saga.
No, I'm all right with that.
Of course you are, because he's a bad guy, and bad guys are bad.
No, it's because he's too fucking serious and full of himself to see the bigger picture.
That's the whole point of his character, and just to do something like that is a complete disservice. It would be like, I don't know, Luke Skywalker making fun of himself in the movie. Oh wait, he did do that. This movie sucks.
Okay.
Okay, so
the opening scene that I'm talking about, though, is the bombing sequence.
Yeah. With the Asian girl kicking.
That sequence right there where she like wakes up and then like all the bombs just drop and it hits the bridge and destroys.
She fucking dies too.
Yeah, I was just like, oh shit.
I was like,
I was trying to figure out how those are bombers, because anybody can shoot them down. They're not really very effective at all.
Slow range or slow speed, I guess. I don't know, for targeting things. I really don't know.
I think there's too many very convenient things that move the movie along. It feels like a really shitty game to me.
I don't know. Like, I thought the opening sequence really illustrated just like how reckless Poe is, for instance. Like that moment where Leia like looks down at the screen and you see just red dots.
Yeah,
they're
showing
blinking like
who's
the X's.
Still alive. Yeah,
and she just kind of goes, "Oh my god!" Like the loss, like how much we lost. And he comes and he's like, "I fucking did it! I did it!" And she's just like, "You idiot!"
Good job, you killed him.
No. I mean, yeah, those interactions absolutely. Poe Dameron, you can see a lot of maturity in his character development, where he goes from like not thinking about the lives but just the mission. And the cost of the mission, he doesn't think about that. He thinks just victory or death. And
he becomes a leader by the end of the movie.
And he becomes more of a leader by the end of the movie.
So, let's talk about Luke and Rey. Because I know we're going to get there.
I gotta go find that picture of Daisy Ridley again.
Oh, dear.
What did you think about the revelation of Rey?
Which one?
Oh, well, you're going way too far.
Talk about the parents thing?
Let's rein it in a little bit. You're going way too far.
Yeah. She's
okay, what are we going to talk about next?
Why are they pushing her to be like the most conflicted Jedi ever? Or person with the Force?
I don't think she's conflicted. If anyone's conflicted, it's Kylo.
Well, no shit.
No, I think the most conflicted is Luke.
Well, now
no.
Age has gotten to him. But I'm talking about like as she's training, not like once they're established.
Well, it doesn't help that your master, so-called Jedi master, is some kind of little bitch hole that just wants to whine and cry about his problems and issues and wants to drink weird titty milk.
They finally showed the blue milk.
Basically when I was reading up on this movie after I watched it, they're saying like Mark Hamill read the script and he basically looked at the director and said, "I disagree with every single thing that you've done for Luke Skywalker."
Oh, Jesus.
And he was just like, on a fundamental level, like, I disagree with everything that you've done to this character. He's like, but I'm going to do my best to.
My next question:
do what you want me to do.
Who has more say, Rian Johnson or Mark Hamill? Do you think?
Rian Johnson, because he's the dude who wrote the movie.
He wrote it?
He wrote the
and
movie.
directed it?
And he directed the movie.
And he's doing 3 more now.
And he's doing 3 more that are completely separate from the
I'm
Skywalker
okay with
saga.
this. Okay, so again, Rey and Luke on an island playing Survivor.
I thought, it was an interesting introduction to him, especially when he literally just tosses the lightsaber over his shoulder. That came kind of
that was pretty
field.
amusing.
Why do they keep showing that same lightsaber? It's not the lightsaber he used last.
No, it's not the lightsaber he used last, but it's most important to him because it was Anakin's lightsaber.
It's the blue one, yeah.
So but him just to go literally, obviously, shit's happened to him at that point.
Fucking porgs.
And we'll get to the porgs too later because
they're essential to the plot.
They are very essential to the plot.
There's just a lot of interesting things, especially Force-related powers that happened in this movie. The
Force lightning.
The psychic connection between Kylo and Rey was interesting.
Yeah, but again, it was explained through Snoke.
Right. But they've done that.
Can we talk about Snoke actually real quick? Because
I don't know if we have...
skipping.
No, look, the thing is, if we start talking about Snoke, we need to finish up Luke and Rey because Snoke is an entirely different conversation on its own.
Luke and Rey sitting on an island.
Luke and Rey sitting on an island was good. He kind of showed you a crotchety old Luke who's seen shit, and he's just trying to do his best to be like, look, Rey, I know you're a Jedi now, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time.
It should be.
There's consequences to having these powers, and her training with the lightsaber, and even just going into that cave, for instance, and he's just you didn't even restrain yourself.
Are you talking about the Sith hole?
Right, you just went for it.
Right, which is terrifying to him, apparently.
Well, no,
right.
And the big thing is, though, you got to remember in his training with Yoda, when he went to a Sith area of the planet, if you will, in the tree, he was very hesitant. He was very slow. He was very cautious, and he ended up failing the test, mind you, but that's besides the point. Rey showed no fear whatsoever.
I don't think it's fear. I think it's motivation, though. That's the way that he pointed it out.
It's motivation for answers.
Right.
She wants
will
answers.
get what she wants, no matter from what side.
And she's kind of greedy in that respect,
Which, whatever.
She's been seeking answers all her life, and I understand that. But that was a really cool sequence when she was down in the cave and she was doing that delayed mirror thing. That was pretty cool.
Did you also see the
utterly pointless in the end?
Did you also see the dead Sith monster?
No. Oh yes.
The dragon skull thing.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
For people that don't know, Sith were originally fucking monsters that had the Force. They're Knights of the Old Republic.
I thought they were an actual race of people.
Not people, essentially. They were kind of like dragons.
I thought they were humanoids.
They was dragons.
But the whole time on the island to me was actually really great because it was reminiscent of those old kung fu movies where you have the master that just doesn't want to teach you. You have the young student that's constantly trying to better herself or himself.
Right.
And I just had random pointless nuns that get upset at the student.
I have to say, when I first saw the porgs in the movie, for instance, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be Ewok level. But they were great. I actually thought they were really interesting. They're definitely cute, especially the Chewbacca scene where he's eating 2 of them, or he's about to eat 2 of them.
That shit was hilarious. He's God damn it.
the eyes are just oh my god, are you actually gonna eat my friend? That was pretty fucking adorable.
Horrible. That was hilarious.
Well, then the nuns were great too. Every single time, you blew up a hut. The introduction, of Luke just sitting in his hut, and then Chewbacca blasting the door off its hinges. That was pretty great.
I thought she
I found it amusing. He was more irritated that the door was blasted than he was the fact that his old friend from a billion years ago shows up out of nowhere.
Right. Him going onto the Millennium Falcon for the first time and it lighting up, that was a pretty cool moment.
By the way, which will be
Can someone explain the dice? I think it was Hans. I'm pretty sure it was Hans.
It's Hans.
But it was
what was
kind of shoehorned in.
It's kind of like a... Think of it kind of like I think it was similar to a Pandora bracelet. One charm was Han, one charm was Leia, I think.
To me, it was more like just a symbolization of his old gambling habit. But okay.
That could be.
That's
it
what I
as
thought
well.
too.
Really?
That's
I
literally
mean,
what I
at
thought too.
I didn't put any meaning beyond that. So,
I put meaning into
Todd,
it just
you're
because
one up
people
on me
were
on that one,
people
buddy.
were saying that one. I'm just reading it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
To me, it was just like, okay, Han was a gambler. These were his gambling dice.
Right.
His lucky dice.
But they were on a chain, which means sad. But yeah, I really enjoyed that part of them on the island. Yeah, he didn't want to train, but whatever. We knew that.
I found it like again interesting that Yoda suddenly pops out of nowhere.
Oh, and he's a fucking puppet again.
And he's a puppet again.
Dude, I was so happy when I saw that. It took me a second because when I looked at it, I was like, he looks a little weird.
He did. He
looks just a little weird. I was like, is this just really bad CG? And you finally get into it and you see like it looks like an animatronic that's moving, and I was just like, oh fuck, they went back to the puppet. This is awesome.
Yeah, right. And Frank Oz.
No, did they really move back to the puppet?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been confirmed. Puppet.
Yeah.
Confirmed Muppet. Sir.
Now the dancing part where he was just like, that had to have
Sound
been
like Scooby-Doo.
some. I know, but I mean, he did kind of go into that mode at one point.
I'm all right.
I feel like that may have been a mixture of CG and puppetry, but I don't know for sure.
Oh, well, either way, it was still a pretty interesting interaction between old master and student.
Well,
no Anakin Force Ghost?
No.
Thank God.
I'm actually surprised that Obi-Wan didn't show up, but I can see
I'm not, because I think that to Luke, he has a lot stronger connection to Yoda than he does with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I think it's because of the fact that Yoda is the one who completed his training and since has let's I mean, what has Luke been doing this entire time aside from the fact that he once trained a couple of Jedi? You know, it makes you wonder, like, what has he been doing for 20, 30 odd years?
Just
I
chilling.
mean, what did Obi-Wan do when he was on Tatooine?
Being a Force Ghost.
He just kind of
a lot of meditation.
You know, led his life in isolation.
A lot of meditation.
Same thing with Yoda when he was in Dagobah.
I mean, it was
Wait, how do you say that?
Dagobah.
Jeff?
Dagobah, but I guess it's
I
Dagobah.
thought it was Dagobah.
I'm always curious how Jeff says things because 9 out of 10 times he Britishizes it.
You mean bastardize it?
No.
No?
Britishize.
British
This here is America.
Morrigo.
But
well, either way,
Excuse
I found
me.
it even more interesting that in a world of holocrons and other things that they wrote in books, apparently, and stored them in an old tree.
those are
That
super old, apparently, though.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see like more.
Oh,
that.
You know, Ray smuggled them out, right?
I
are you
know
sure?
that.
Was it Ray or was it Luke putting
Ray.
them on them? He was
Ray-
in the Millennium Falcon.
Ray was in the Millennium Falcon, and no, because remember Luke went to go and save the text when Yoda called down the lightning.
Yeah, Luke wouldn't have like fucking cared.
Maybe Yoda put them in there.
Maybe
Maybe that's why he
Possible?
didn't care and just burned the shit down.
I love that he just like Luke's like trying to go for the books, and then all of a sudden,
Also,
I
he
did
used
enjoy the
Force
fact
Lightning.
that there was a lot. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Todd.
He also used Force Lightning. That's a dark side power.
It is a Jedi power.
No,
or
dark
it
side
is a
power.
Force power that is neither good or bad.
You can't lie to
and
me.
it's just primarily.
I
used
played
by-
KOTOR.
Whatever. Long
which
story,
isn't canon.
Interestingly
mouth.
enough, though, I found it very fascinating that. Oh, I totally forgot what my point was. I
See, Force
lost
Lightning.
it.
Bad people.
No, it had nothing to do with Force Lightning.
Yoda. Books.
No.
Ray. Finn. Asian chick.
Oh, I do remember now. I found it interesting that during the talk between Luke and Yoda, and especially when Luke was semi-training Rey, if you call that training,
That wasn't training.
he was very adamant about the fact that he was pointing out all the issues with the Jedi Order and how they basically killed themselves and how they created their own worst enemies out of their own hubris,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is not wrong. I mean, it's 100% accurate.
Right. Oh, can we talk about the fact that Luke almost killed Ben?
Yeah.
He did not.
No. So
Luke almost killed Ben.
Okay.
Out of fear.
Let's pull back here.
Oh,
So
you're right.
there's two-
He did almost kill him out in fear. Yeah.
There's two differing tales of what triggered Kylo Ren to go bad. There was
He was going to go bad either way.
He was going to go bad either way, so he was just like, all right, I'm going to go confront him. And
or
then
Luke scared him to be bad.
Kylo started attacking. And then the second one, which is, I guess, the real version, is where he still, since he was bad, he was going to do it. And then he was like, holy shit, no, this is horrible. He felt like a really huge sense of guilt and was about to just walk away when Kylo like noticed what he was about to do.
But he still had a lightsaber drawn. That was his problem.
Right. So, I mean...
Also, the green one.
No, the lightsaber wasn't ignited, though. It was just a stick at that point.
Was it?
Yeah, it was never ignited. That's the thing.
I thought the green was out.
Nope, it was never ignited in the real version of supposedly.
Okay. In the retelling? Yeah.
Right. So what it ended up being is that Kylo reacted out of fear, again, which is a dark side trait. And Luke ended up partially defending himself, and then the whole thing started.
Yeah. Which, it's just the moment where you're just like, holy shit, Luke almost became his father for a second.
Apparently, there was an original scene thought of, I don't know if it was written or shot, in episode 6. Yeah, 6. Where after Vader dies, Luke picks up the helmet and says, I'm Vader now. I don't know if that's real, but I read that today.
I don't think that's accurate.
I would be cool if it was.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's not an alternate telling of the universe when he takes over. There's a couple of stories and alternate
Where's Mara Jade?
Timelines where he does go dark.
Mara Jade.
Well, so let's talk about... I just want to talk about... Because before we get to like kind of the meat of the story here, can I just talk about the weakest point of the movie for me?
The porgs?
Snoke?
I'm talking about that whole casino thing.
That's totally pointless.
You mean let's give something to do with Finn?
It literally, that's what it felt like, and I felt really bad for the Finn.
John Boyega.
So it added an interesting aspect to the movie. You kind of have this
the planet was
plot
cool.
line moving over on one side, and then you get this kind of like dire situation.
Side quest.
Yeah, dire situation where like the resistance ship is being attacked.
Which would have been entirely avoided if, people said anything.
Right. Well, no, but I mean, if you think about it, though, the whole tracking situation, too, they're able to track him through hyperspace and all this other junk. Like, there's a lot.
Right,
there's
but
a lot
they
of
had
stuff
already
there.
intended to escape to this one planet and transport to that planet, therefore completely ignoring that whole scene with the casino. If they had just said something and said, hey, look, we're going to this planet and we're going to abandon this ship, and then they can sit there and track this stupid ship forever, none of this would have happened.
That's entirely true, but at the same time, I don't think she realized how successful they were going to be, or if there was like a spy on board. If you think about it, like, the resistance was very small at that point, and maybe she wasn't aware about the tracking thing.
Fuck you, Benicio del Toro.
Maybe
I'm talking
she thought
about the vice admiral, the one that
no,
took
that's
over.
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about maybe she was not aware that there was an actual tracking device on the ship.
I'm pretty sure she made the announcement.
You mean Hodor?
I don't think so.
And I don't know if she made the announcement. I do know, I'm pretty confident she was appraised of it because it wasn't a big secret. They announced it in the entire bridge. Although they just died. So maybe, okay, there's some plausibility to your theory. Okay.
I'm just saying that maybe...
Everybody on the bridge was dead, David.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was like, okay, well, maybe if no one said anything and there was no report and they all died and Leia was knocked out. Yeah, okay, I could see that possibly happening.
Right.
Well, now that I think about it, I think she was the one that announced that they were tracking them through hyperspace.
I felt like she was, right.
But at the same time, she didn't know what manner it could be.
Right.
They may have been a spy on board saying, hey, this is
they
the
know they're
coordinates.
tracking the ship, right? That's what I'm saying. They know they're tracking the ship. So,
but they also didn't have the codes and all that. I mean, it made sense, but it was like a very just weak plot line. I guess the whole idea behind it was to say, hey, this is what war looks like to the rest of the universe, especially with the scene where they get Benicio del Toro out of the jail and he's like on the ship going, oh, look who they've sold stuff
Right.
to. Oh,
But
the New Order.
that is
and the Resistance.
that is a major thing that they have to show. There are two sides of every war.
Of course.
And there are no, I think it was trying to point out, I could be overthinking it, but there is no solid good, solid evil. There are players in the in-between. You can be in the in-between.
That's just that's pretty much any war. I think it was more of a social commentary than anything, where, people are going to profit from war. War is very good for profit.
Right.
Just like natural disasters are very good for certain industries. But long story short, it is what it is. I don't think it was really necessary to the plot whatsoever.
No, 100%. It was.
Now,
To me, it felt more like I just finished playing Destiny, a video game.
It's a fetch quest.
And exactly, thank you. It
Yeah,
felt like a fetch quest.
It's a fetch quest that you get from an NPC whenever you're trying to grind. I understand.
so what did you guys think of Rose?
Who?
The Asian chick.
Probably chubby Asian chick or hot Asian chick that died earlier?
Chubby Asian chick.
Okay, she was cool.
And she was okay. Possible love interest for Finn.
Lump interest?
Love interest.
Oh. I mean,
I
also lump.
I hate to say though, but there's a moment where they're all in the Millennium Falcon and like Finn's tucking Rose onto the like medical thing. Is she alive or dead, by the way?
Bitch.
She's alive?
Okay. But like Ray's like looking, she's going like, "What the fuck happened while I was gone?"
Yeah, that's like I said. Ray was like, "Bitch, I'm gonna lightsaber your ass."
She got a man though, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, she does.
She's all right.
Yeah, I thought she was. I thought the nice thing about her was
I didn't want
that,
Finn to do everything, so that works out.
Well, for me, it was also just a way of seeing like from the other side, someone who's been working with the Resistance for like almost all of their life, like what they've had to endure.
Yeah, she talked about how she was in the pipes this entire time and hearing the stories of the heroes.
Right.
Well, not only that, but like the orphan story, like
I
I think it was a
orphan.
nice touch that they added in a bunch of the kids and throwing in resistance signs and stuff like that.
What was really cool about that really fed into the fact that it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a Force user and you can be special in your own way. Like that,
unless you're Brienne of Tarth, and then you just die.
Damn.
God damn. All right, you know what? Let's talk about pointless deaths real quick, actually, because
Brienne of Tarth, she's gone.
No, not.
I mean, you never know. She could be still alive.
Dude, she's gonna come back and she's gonna be like F in blah 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 blah, and half of her face is like scarred and shit. She's like, I'm going to murder you.
FN 1 something
127 or something like that. Yeah.
And he's gonna be like, oh come on, man! I killed you in the last movie.
What does it take to kill your ass?
And she goes, what is dead may never die.
The fact that Finn used the traitor baton thing
right to her face.
What I love what they call that one stormtrooper. I'm trying to remember what the designation is. It's like TR8 something.
TRT8R.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
But she's coming back, and she's gonna fucking murder somebody.
Yeah, 100%. She's coming back. She's gonna chrome dome the shit out of somebody.
Or maybe she's just dead.
Oh, TR8R. Yeah, that's what it is. TR8R.
Traitor.
His actual thing is FN2199.
So let's talk about Snoke, because I'm very interested to talk about Snoke.
Good job, Andy Serkis.
I have more questions now than ever about Snoke.
So let me just throw this out here real quick. When you guys went into this movie, did you expect to get some sort of backstory about Snoke, or
Nope.
some
sort of resolution?
Some sort of like
expected 100%. Some sort of something
dude?
about why he's the way he is.
Right.
Do you
Obviously,
really ever get that though?
No, to a certain
You didn't
degree,
get that with Sidious. You just found out who he was.
Yeah, but with Sidious, it was you already knew he was the Emperor.
Well, no,
Yeah,
with
that's true.
Sidious, you got to see him turn from a very political person, and he turned like you got his arc.
Right.
Yeah,
knew a
you got
little
his
bit about
entire
him.
arc where he was he was manipulating the
But
background.
you never heard like the stories of his Sith dealings. You just heard about him
yeah,
as
you
the
did.
Emperor.
He even went into a whole thing about his master.
Not
and how he
much.
killed
No,
his master.
that was. Oh, that what?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
talked about Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Darth
Wait.
Plagueis the
Whoa,
Wise
hold
was-
on. Say that again, Jeff.
I think we just blew Todd's mind.
Say that again, Jeff.
Darth Plagueis. I can't say his name. Fuck off.
David, how do you say it?
Darth Plagueis.
There you go. Okay, just wonder.
The
Plagueis,
Wise.
Anyways, so
the one that cheated death. We all.
I can
Yes.
do the great voice, but that's about
I don't
it.
think you can.
Power.
one line.
No, you have to say unlimited power in a very angry.
Unlimited power.
But you have to yell it at the top of your lungs while you're melting. So
And
let's
while,
get a
while
flame
you're
torch.
yelling at Mace Windu. Snoke, I didn't care.
Dude,
Cool. Big bad guy.
Okay, so we saw how powerful he was.
In
Kind of,
theory.
sort of.
In theory, he did the force lighting. You're just like, yes.
Yeah,
this
he like
is-
force
this is gonna be
whipped
great.
everybody. He pulled, he pushed. He
I was
could
like-
tell he was a force mage at least, but to die like he did, that was the most bitchy way to die.
People keep asking,
Although-
how did he not notice?
Because he was too caught up in his own.
Too confident?
Yeah, he was just like, haha, I'm the most powerful person in the room. Nothing can stop me.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, though, there's two things that I thought was going to happen. The first thing I thought that was going to happen is that the lightsaber is going to fly to Rey, and they're going to go both Kylo and her were going to go attack him, or basically
It would
he
basically
was going to like
replay the Return of the Jedi lightsaber scene.
no, he was going to like push Rey aside, grab the other lightsaber, and go one-on-one with him with both lightsabers,
And then fucking die.
and then like get destroyed, right?
Yeah.
But then the third thing happens, lightsaber turns, and you just hear and he just kind of like looks down. Everyone in my
Oh, fuck.
everyone in my theater just started clapping and cheering.
Really?
Yeah, and you have
Yeah.
to admit, like, you're like, oh shit, didn't see that happening, and he's already dead.
I had a guy literally yell out lame.
I mean, it's very
He goes,
polarizing.
Lame.
It's very polarizing. You just took your big bad you know nothing
And you
about.
gave him- you know nothing about. You just know that he displayed all this power all of a sudden, then he dies like a bitch.
Now, granted,
No epic lightsaber scene, nothing.
he never
Like,
seemed
why
like a
is he all
lightsaber user in the
scarred? Why
first
does
place.
he look like a shriveled prune?
Because he's
Why
old
does
as
he
shit.
look- Huh?
Because he's old as shit.
Yeah, but
Are
we'll
you
never
sure? Maybe
know.
that's just the way his species looks.
Is he Darth
Who?
Plagueis?
Like, what is his species? What the fuck is Snoke?
Is he Darth Plagueis?
No.
Well, so that begs the other question, because if that is, then he might be coming back in some form
That's
or
the only
fashion.
reason I question it. Because I can't tell if that's him or not. I loved Kylo Ren in this movie. Like,
Yeah, he stole
Adam
every
Driver
scene. He
did
really
very
did.
well in this movie. In comparison
The-
to the last one where he seemed like an emo bitch.
Him destroying the helmet was like
Are you talking about
that
the
was-
elevator or
yeah,
destroying
that was
the
the most
other one?
emo part of the movie.
But
that
at
was
the
so
same
early, it's
time, I
fine.
wrote
Right.
it off as, classic Kylo Ren. He rages in the elevator.
But it was also in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Right.
But
It
it was
purposely
also-
showed him growing.
Yeah, it basically was just like, dude, like this is me changing now.
Right?
Okay, well, let's go with Kylo Ren.
Are they going to
What
have...
Okay.
happened to the Knights of Ren?
That's
I
a
don't
great
fucking
question.
know.
One theory I read was it was the guards that were surrounding Snoke, but that doesn't
I
make
don't
any sense because they would have
know.
just used the fucking force
I
and
feel
murdered
like
them.
those are the leftover guards from the Emperor.
Like,
Now hold on.
I thought they were Mandalorians.
The Knights of Ren, are they Force users?
That's a great question. You assume so,
yes,
considering they were being
because
trained.
You remember, hold on, and the reason why I say yes 100% is
100%.
so in every single account of what happened between Luke and Kylo, they mentioned that he grabbed a bunch of the students and left with them.
right?
So there was an upvolt. There was several people feeling the way that they felt along with Kylo Ren about Luke Skywalker. So I feel like it wasn't just an isolated incident. I feel like there was some serious discourse among the students against their teacher, and that's what created the Knights. That's what happened. That's what the Knights of Ren are those students that left the Jedi Order or the New Jedi Order to create the Knights of Ren.
Or it could just be like, hey, yo, dude, Luke just tried to kill me. Oh, we're leaving.
Yeah. Like, why would you not want to continue in your badass?
Because he might try and kill you too.
No, you want to be a space wizard.
That was his fucking nephew, and he tried to kill him?
And that way you can kill him back.
You're a fool. You would never survive.
Oh,
Uncle
man.
Luke would kill you too.
Rude.
Are they gonna make a gray Jedi baby?
Ugh.
Rey and Kylo
Yeah.
making some Force babies.
I am repulsed by the idea of that relationship happening.
I thought they were brother
Why?
and sister.
Because she
because
has the hots
it's
for him.
so fucking cliche.
So?
Yeah,
It's
that's
no.
like, oh, the whole damn
Wait
story
a minute.
is
No,
a
no, no,
cliche.
no, no. What would have been cliche is if they were brother and sister.
No,
Right? Like
No.
somehow
That is
his
legit
cousins or
cliche
some
of Star
bullshit.
Wars.
no. I understand what you're saying about that, Todd, but I also know that there was no way they were officially going to make her. Hold up. Now I'm saying this now. Rey's parentage.
Right.
Kylo says what Rey's parentage was.
Right. They're nobodies.
They're
Yep.
nobodies. They were drunkards. That
They
whole
sold her
deal.
for water. Yeah.
Which makes complete
Good.
sense.
Yeah.
That is a good, like, hey, just let you know, like, you're basically nothing, but you're becoming
Garbage.
something, right? You're becoming something from what you were.
Garbage.
We also don't know if it's a fucking lie yet, because
Very
it
true.
could have just been him saying, oh, maybe if I try and lie to her and say, hey, this is what is, but you also get the sense that, like, the more she thinks about it, the more it's her just like saying, you know what, you're right. They were nobody. Like, I can totally sense that being true.
Flip side of the coin is, could he lie to her?
I think so. I mean, yeah, they had that psychic connection, but once Snoke's dead, he was the one that was kind of supporting that psychic
I
connection.
don't think they had. I don't think Snoke had anything to do with that.
No, Snoke did say that
I know, he
bridged
said
the
it.
connection between the Force where they would be more in tune with
said
each other.
that, yes, but that's not the first time. And granted, this is now legend stuff that two people have been connected like that.
Right. It's also not the first time it's happened in the continuation, the current continuation.
Right.
Luke and Leia
Didn't-
have that same connection.
Didn't Luke also used to see stuff from his father, or they used to communicate somehow?
Yes, they would be able to sense people who have strong ties with each other have the ability to sense each other through the Force. It happened between Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker, and when Anakin with Darth Vader with his son, Darth Vader with Leia when he was searching Luke's feelings. Also, several instances throughout episode 1, 2, and 3, as well as this new one, when
Kylo.
Kylo and
Right.
yes, so
I
it's
don't
always
think-
been there.
I
I
think
don't
the
think it's a
connection was there.
familial thing, though. It's
It-
not.
I think it's
I-
romantic.
No, I do
No.
not. I think it's merely the fact that he is the highest dark side user at
He's
this
the
point
Supreme Lord,
versus her, which is the light.
the only light
I,
user.
I see, and I hesitate to use light user for Rey
'Cause she's not.
because I don't think she's fully versed in anything Jedi really,
'Cause there
aside
is no
from the
Jedi.
fact that she's kind of learning on her own because she's that powerful. The thing with Rey and Kylo also, I believe, is something to do with the fact that when Kylo first met Rey, he created a Force connection with her in order to read her thoughts and minds, and something must have left an impression in their Force connection. That's why they're able to bridge so easily. And
That's,
Snoke was able to reinforce that connection.
Right. I don't think he connected them. I think he strengthened the connection. If
Right.
anything.
And I can agree with that.
That's what I love
And not
about
only
Star
that-
Wars, though. You can ask these questions, and you have to wait 2 years to find out the answer. Now.
No, son of a bitch.
Well, I'm really hoping once the book comes out in March.
There's a
which,
book?
Yeah, there's a book coming out in March.
Can I get it on our sponsor, Audible? Oh, wait. Never mind.
Yeah.
We don't have a sponsor
Yet.
So it'll be interesting because when I read the Force Awakens book, it kind of explained things a little bit more in depth. And at that point, it's like, this is exactly what happened. So, like, there was this whole... I'm not even going to get into it because it actually wasn't interesting of a subplot. But there's a subplot that kind of explains, like, why it was such a big deal in the Force Awakens when the Republic is being blown up and you got that one shot of this lady that kind of looks like a Resistance lady. Like, that was Leia's, like, friend. That she told specifically, go to the Republic, something's about to happen.
Yeah, that was in the like comic or something. That was the aftermath filler.
Right.
So wait.
There's also, keep in mind, a shit ton of deleted scenes.
Yeah, movie. Supposedly like 2 hours worth.
An hour and 15 minutes.
Well, hour 15 minutes.
Because the movie was, when they originally cut it together, it was 3 hours and 30 minutes.
I would have been okay with that.
I wouldn't have.
Well,
this is the longest Star Wars movie ever.
You could feel it.
And you could start to feel it kind of at the end. But at the same time, it's like they're saying, hey, we know it took us a shit ton of time to get here. We're going to give you kind of your money's worth. And hopefully this will tide you over, until 2 years from now.
Well, I mean, they did give Todd some huge nibbles.
It's 2 years. So, like, we've got Solo the movie coming out 6 months from now. It's coming out in May. Yeah, it's in May.
2?
Rogue 2 does not exist.
I know.
Yeah, because they're all dead.
Yeah, everybody died.
Solo is the second Star Wars story.
But are we getting Boba Fett?
Is Lando
the third
in it?
one? The third one is presumably supposed to be
Lando. Lando Calrissian.
Lando's in the Han Solo movie.
I know. Is it Billy D. Williams?
Maybe later.
It just should be an old Billy D.
That's
Williams
what I want.
talking about the young days.
Exactly.
Danny Glover is young.
Old as shit.
Lando. No.
Danny, do you mean Donald Glover?
Donald Glover, yeah.
Danny Glover is old as
guys
balls.
and girls. Jeff is old. He means Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. Jesus Christ. Danny Glover.
Sorry.
I'm too old for this shit. Lethal Weapon.
Hey, man.
Damn it.
I mean,
I wanted them to make out because it just felt like it was heading that way. I guess the end of the movie.
My favorite thing, though,
Luke
because
was
when
wearing
I watched
robe.
the trailer, and you know that part where he's like holding out his hand
Nope.
to
Oh,
her,
yeah.
and she's like, "I need someone to teach me," and blah blah blah. I totally
He'll teach her
fucking
some
called it.
things.
No, I totally fucking called it when I was like, "That's not the same scene."
No.
Because there's like debris and flames falling behind him, and there wasn't any falling behind her. They cut the fucking scene from the hut.
That's what
when
they're
she was
supposed
talking
to
to
do.
Luke. I know.
What's wrong with you? I
We
mean,
need to
half
talk-
of the scenes in the trailer are from the end of the movie.
Right.
So there is one.
Also,
major
Kylo
thing
doesn't have his
missing
helmet
from this
on
movie.
in that room.
There's what?
There's one huge major thing missing from this movie that
Missing?
every other Star Wars had.
Sex.
What?
I guess.
Star-
Really? No, the most important thing in every single Star Wars movie.
Porgs.
No,
Chewie. Oh,
a
wait.
lightsaber duel.
I mean, there was kind of one at the end.
No, there was never a single lightsaber on lightsaber action.
He dodged everything. He didn't need to use
movie
it.
up until this movie had a lightsaber duel.
That's okay.
That's the whole point of these damn movies.
No.
Is to watch some Jedi fucking shit up.
These aren't
No.
Errol Flynn movies. There does not have to be sword fights. This is an
there
opera,
does.
like you said.
Yes, there does.
And
Episode-
David, because you had to point that out to me, also leads me to believe that is not the most important thing about Star Wars.
Don't
I'm
you
just
dare.
saying, like, because
There was a lightsaber duel. I mean,
No.
that's
There
lovely.
wasn't.
But
no, there wasn't
anyways,
one in Rogue One. I was just about to say there was one.
Oh,
in
you
Rogue One.
ruined it.
But that's not really a part of the saga.
Is there going to be one in Han Solo? Is Han
no.
going
I
to
doubt
wield a
it.
lightsaber?
There's no Force users. He didn't believe in the Force until he met Luke. Remember?
This is very true.
So there's one last thing I want to go over before we're not
porgs.
quite at the end because we
porgs.
can keep talking. Carrie Fisher.
We're already at an hour, by the way, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
We've got a really big problem here.
She's
yeah,
dead.
because she was supposed to be dying in the third installment.
Right. So obviously, okay, I just want to ask you guys here real briefly. When she was blown off of the bridge,
I thought she was dead.
you thought she was dead, right?
Yep, 100%.
And
Nope,
then
I
they
didn't.
brought her back, and you're just like, fuck.
No, I didn't because
She
they
was
spoiled
hot.
that for me. It was spoiled for me.
By
The reason
who?
why Carrie Fisher herself, because right before she passed
As a
on,
Force ghost?
they were talking about how she was she was mad because she didn't get to be the big portrait face for episode 8. It was Luke, and how before that it was I think it was either Han or her or Luke before her, and they promised her she would be the big focus on
9.
episode 8 or 9, yeah. So they had big plans on her character for episode 9.
Well, yeah, they've said that 1,000 times.
And so and a lot of these scenes were already finished and cut. So the
Right,
fact
but
that she
they-
didn't die does
no.
not surprise me at all.
No, but I mean, if you think about it, though, I knew that going in, David. But when she was blown off the bridge, I was literally like, "This is where they're gonna do it.
They did
No,
it.
because they
This is
had
where they're gonna
intended-
have a clean."
The whole point was have the major characters die at one in each episode.
No, I understand that, but reality takes precedence over story, dude. Like, there is no Carrie Fisher anymore.
Now,
Yes,
but when they pretty much finished the movie, there was.
they were still in post production when she died.
Oh,
They could have easily said, "You know what? We're gonna cut this
and we're
scene where
just
she
gonna
comes back."
can 95% of the movie
No,
with a lot of scenes she's in.
You could have done a majority of that movie without Leia.
you could have. You could have.
I guess you're right.
100%.
Yeah, because she's not really integral to being slapped.
She
by
is there
Poe.
for motivation
They could
and
have
to talk to
reshot.
Luke.
They could have reshot the scene with Luke. Just he could have just appeared, talked to Ray real briefly, and be like, "I've got it from here."
Right.
But,
But,
like,
Luke
they
used
intentionally
his
chose.
connection with Leia in order to
We
find him
don't
in the
know
first
that.
place. Yeah, we do.
No, we don't.
Because she said Luke.
Granted, it was an homage 100% to the beginning of Return of the Jedi. Him just
Yeah.
walking in like that.
Yeah.
That's a badass to go find Leia. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
homage. But I mean, he could have just shown up there.
It literally, like, I understand what you're saying, David, but like at the same time, like, if they were to have done it, they could have easily just done it.
They could have
there.
done it there. Yes.
could have killed
And
her
that would
off
have
so
been a
fast.
perfectly acceptable, in a sense, loss. But at the same time, I felt like there was like that's just a really shitty way to kill off the character.
Well, I mean, they killed off Admiral Akbar without any fanfare.
They also
oh,
killed
no
off
one
Solo.
gave a shit about Akbar.
I
Not
did.
even
Give a
one
shit.
line. That was the only good thing about him. That's all he had in anything.
No, he
that one
was.
line.
He was in the video
he
games.
He was a great leader. Okay.
He was
he-
a crawfish.
Fucking racist over here.
How is that racist? It's more like speciest.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
All this is proving to me is fucking Leia was hot.
What?
I'm watching the remembering Carrie Fisher thing that Star Wars put up
I
earlier
love
this
the
year.
part where R2D2 busts out the photo or
Oh
the
yeah,
memory of Leia
The-
leading to
Oh, yeah. Luke is like, that's a cheap move.
That was a
yeah,
cheap
that was
move.
a low blow.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. I'm
I think
fascinated
I
to
think
see
that Luke's
how they
ending
fix
was a
that.
very big disservice to the character as well.
Luke's.
No, I do not. I think that was absolutely okay. Now let me put it this way: when he's on the rocks, or he's
Yeah.
on the rocks and he's doing his thing, and he sees the two suns, and his eyes are just like he's full of emotion, and he looks so happy. He just looks so happy. And he's like, I finally achieved it. And then when he goes, and obviously just like Obi-Wan Kenobi, I shook my fist at the screen. Because at first I was just like, this is awesome. Like, this is a fucking cheap trick. Because like you had him, fighting this big battle. He was a badass. He was even like, I'll see you around, kid, to Kylo Ren. Like, it was beautiful. And you were just like, oh, Luke is going to survive. And then when he does that, you're just like immediately like, oh fuck. Like it was sad, but to me it was a perfect link to Obi-Wan. It was just like at that point he'd exhausted everything that he could to kind of give the spark back to the Resistance to keep Leia's dream alive. And it was beautiful. Like it was sad and it was very distressing to me at first, but the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? If this is the way Luke Skywalker was going to go out, this is the way.
See, and I felt it should have been more dramatic and dynamic for him to fight to the death or something like that. I wanted him to go out like Obi-Wan Kenobi did in a lightsaber battle.
You know, but
he didn't even battle. He literally said, "Cut me."
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Drag me down.
I felt
he
like
literally said that
more,
too.
I think it would have been a more appealing way for Luke to do that. Is in his last moments do what Obi-Wan Kenobi did and let it all go, become one with the Force, be at peace, and then when he is quote unquote struck down, let his robe dissipate like it did at the end of the scene where he was on this little rock.
All that sounds like is you fell for the swerve, that they did that on purpose and you were upset about it.
I'm not saying that it wasn't a bad way for him to end. I just felt that he deserved a better ending, and his ending is one of strife and conflict. That's the integral part of this character.
He had a great ending.
A pansy ass ending.
He literally saved every member
part
of the
this
Resistance.
Damn movie is when that guy got exploded into chunks.
He literally saved every member of the Resistance.
And he could have done the same thing if he was able to go to that planet and literally fight.
No, he couldn't have.
That's the thing. I
know why. Don't get me wrong. I understand why, and I understand it was an integral part because he couldn't physically get there in time. Blah blah blah. I understand that. I get it. What I'm trying to say though is I felt it would have been a better ending that way than the way that they did it, and it's satisfying end to all the circumstantial issues. But I'm just saying, I felt he should have gone out in a lightsaber duel.
I don't think so. I don't think that. I think going out in a lightsaber duel, it just doesn't. It's just not his style. He was just trying to live a peaceful life, and he's had.
He was running away like a coward bitch.
Who? Wait, what? Who?
Luke was running away. Luke was trying to die off on his own, to shut away all the Jedi because he was a crybaby because he messed up a little bit.
A little bit?
Okay. He tried to kill his nephew.
No, he really did. Eventually, Snoke would have found Kylo Ren, and eventually Kylo Ren would have become the Force that he was. Now, did Luke help it along? Absolutely. It didn't help matters. But Snoke's influence was already in all those students that became the Knights of Ren, according to mythos that Snoke and Luke said and Kylo said.
Well, now we don't know anything about Snoke, so
yeah, because they fucking ended him for no damn reason out of nowhere in the most unsatisfying way possible.
R.I.P. Snoke.
I just have to say though that the whole scene with Luke, going up against the gorilla walkers, I guess they're called, or whatever the fuck they're called now.
What?
They're supposed to be like gorillas, like the front paws. They're not AT-ATs anymore. They're something else.
Oh, okay. During the salt battle, got it.
Right. The walkers are different.
Yeah.
So, and he's just like, fire everything that you can at him, and Hux literally has to be like, bro, you think he's
you can stop now.
And he's still like, I knew he was still standing there, but in my mind I was just like, he's gonna totally use the Force to be like, shield the blast.
It is an ATM-6.
ATM-6, okay. So when that happens and he was just like, I'm gonna fucking go one-on-one against Kylo, like that whole scene was just great. And there's things that like I didn't notice that someone actually pointed out to me. You don't see his feet create footprints.
See, at night, you're right, and I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about that until after. But then you also, like, obviously his appearance has changed too. he looks like he did when Ben last saw him.
Yeah, he looks a lot younger. He looks, because his beard is trimmed. He's got his old Master Jedi robes on. He's got his shiny belt in the center. You know, and and a big clue that I didn't even think about until just now, and I questioned in the movie, but then I kind of just wrote it off. He's using his old dad's lightsaber.
Exactly.
And I just kind of like wrote it off, saying, "Oh, it could have been a different lightsaber." But no, it was the exact same lightsaber. He was using the blue lightsaber that his dad had, that was exploded when Kylo and Rey were
force pulling it
fighting
apart.
Yeah, force playing on the.
Which should have been like a huge fucking like, oh my god, huge shocker thing, right?
Nope.
But at the same time, you're just like, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, you just kind of wrote it off if you were paying attention to it. You just, like I did, I wrote it off. I'm like, oh, it must be a different lightsaber. There's no way it could be the same one.
But like, I understand that it wasn't like the best lightsaber duel ever. It wasn't even a duel at that. But like, it just showed how weak Kylo Ren was.
Or how powerful Luke Skywalker truly is.
Right. And like, when it finally panned over to him on the island, sitting there, and everyone in the theater went like, oh, like, especially when he just like kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's fucking awesome.
And then, you know what's interesting, as I noticed that he fell over in pain.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, because he had such strong power in the Force, that the wounds actually manifested on him. That's why he died.
No, I think it's because he
I think it's just
too
because
much
he overexerted himself, and he bowled too much of his life force into the Force powers to project himself. No, I get that. Trust me, I understand that, and I would agree with that. But my initial first impression of it was, oh my god, he just like, he was so powerful that he literally like manifested those damages onto himself that Kylo did to him, and that and he's gonna die.
And there is evidence to that too, because if you remember, in earlier scenes, it was raining on Rey, which he had that connection with Kylo,
right?
And there was water falling on his glove,
right? Which is why all that kind of led to that conclusion for me, is that, you know, the stronger you are in the Force, the more physical the manifestations of what's happening to you during those Force episodes, if you will. That's what happened. So that's why I truly felt that he didn't get stabbed, but they never show any wounds on him. They never show his torso really in a clear, easy to see shot. So you couldn't tell if he wasn't actually, like, you know, he's got a big old hole in his gut and sliced in half.
As a whole, this movie, like I said earlier, this movie had a lot going on in it. I remember texting you guys when I first got it, so I was just like, dude.
I told you, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, then, well, and
nobody else had seen it yet.
I was really hurt when you said that, dude.
No.
Because I was really hurt. I was like, really? You think I'm going to spoil it for you?
Yes.
We know you're not going to spoil it, but at the same time, I don't want to know anything. Like,
right.
I don't even care. I understand that you want to say, like, it's a badass movie, and it is.
Jeff, I don't watch trailers.
Movie, but I didn't want to know that it was a badass movie. You just made the anticipation to watch the movie that much worse for me.
Wait, what he said. I don't even watch trailers, and you're going to... Don't give me opinions. I just want to see the damn movie.
I'm sorry, but like, it was one of those things where I had to say something.
No, I understand, and I'm not mad at you, but it's like, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're trying to say, is like, dude, that opinion just makes it that much more worse and more anticipating to watch the movie. And it's just like, oh, I can't watch it for another 2 fucking days.
I just want to touch on something because I just thought about it. Like I said, there's so much in this movie to talk about.
Well, we're not going to, but continue.
No, we're not going to talk about a lot more, but basically, I want to get like your favorite scene out of the movie. And my favorite scene is where the Admiral turns the ship towards Snoke's ship. And she jumps into hyperspace and she just literally splits it into thousands of different pieces. That was such a cool fucking visual.
Well, they've always talked about, what happens if the hyperdrive's computer doesn't work properly.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
But like, dude, and then it just goes fucking eerily quiet. And especially in the theater, it was super fucking quiet when that happened. And of course, he had one dude in front of me go, "Oh shit!
Oh shit!"
I was that dude for sure.
God,
We had people in my theater with lightsabers, like
Nice.
light
kind
up
of awesome.
ones. I was like, I hope you fucking die. If you turn that lightsaber on during the movie, I will murder you.
But like that was perhaps my favorite scene besides, which is the beautiful scene of Luke dying at the end. That was my two favorite scenes. Todd, what was your favorite scene?
The porgs.
Porgs. That was it.
Shit. Ray holding up all the rocks.
Okay,
Showing
That was a pretty epic scene.
Yeah.
I got you.
The passing of the torch kind of deal.
right.
I'm no longer the last Jedi. That was
Pretty much. Yeah.
pretty powerful. All right, David, what was your favorite scene?
Actually, sadly enough, my favorite scene was the one with Chewbacca and him eating the porg and then getting upset that he couldn't because the stupid things were too cute.
Oh, well, all right, fair enough.
I would say a lightsaber duel, but there was none. So
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so that being said,
actually, no, I have to rescind my scene. My favorite scene was when the guy got pushed into the thing and his chunks blew.
What are you talking about?
You don't remember that part? That was like a really awesome part. Okay, the part.
Wait-
Okay, so when Kylo and
what
Rey
he's talking
first start fighting the guards,
They push one of them into like a
they
grinder
push one of
thing.
them into the like energy blade things, and all his
Oh
bits
yeah,
jumped out of it.
yeah. Okay, it was like on the far right hand side, and he just kind of fall. Yeah.
Yep, that was my favorite
dude.
part.
When Kylie was struggling and like Ray throws the lightsaber to him and he just goes,
That was rude. That was
Oh
so
my
fucking rude.
God, that was awesome.
Like a lightsaber through the skull. That's fucked up.
Ooh. All right, well, okay. Overall feeling, I really enjoyed this movie. It was fantastic. I'm excited.
Can't wait for the next one.
This is one of those things where you're just like, I don't even know what they're gonna do for the next one. Like it's kind of a blank slate, really.
I think the problem is for me in this movie was I had put it up on a pedestal, and I know it wasn't a J.J. Abrams movie, and I think that's what I'm missing most from it. It's not quite as polished as I was hoping. It's a wonderful, beautiful movie as it is, but with all the small questions and issues that I felt that could have been answered, I think they did pretty well with what they had available.
I think it was the best thing I could say about this movie is that it felt fresh and bold, and it was not afraid to make difficult choices. And it wasn't a fucking rehash of Empire Strikes Back like everyone was fearing it would be.
I'm glad. I'm really happy it wasn't.
Dun, dun, dun.
Although funny enough, somebody was pointing out to me earlier. He was kind of there. She was kind of upset that that Poe and Finn weren't doing nothing.
Oh
They're
yeah,
a little upset about that.
That they're not gay together? Is that what you're saying?
there's such a large like love triangle forming there.
So many ships.
You've got Rey, you've got Rose, and now you've got Poe, and I think Poe's gonna be like, bro, I saw you first.
You're my broseph.
We flew a TIE fighter together, man.
We were knee to knee.
Oh man. All right. Well, that being said, I think we're gonna wrap this up. We've been talking for about an hour, 15 minutes now, roughly. I'm just really excited to see where we go from here. A lot of questions to be answered, especially the Carrie Fisher dilemma.
Like, how are they gonna homage her? Because they flat out said they were not gonna make her re-image.
They're not doing CG. They're not going to. As far as I know, they're just not going to even have her in the movie. Like, it's going to be kind of a Heath Ledger moment where they're not even like mentioned like the Joker in the last Batman movie. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but I guess it's kind of what you got to do.
Well, considering that everyone refuses flat out to do CGI for her.
I think
I'm
what's
not
going to happen
surprised.
is that she'll be like, "Oh, General Organa couldn't make it elsewhere doing something."
Yeah,
else.
or unless they're gonna do like the Disney thing and say, "I don't give a crap about what your feelings are. We're gonna do this anyway."
Right. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, all right. Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
No.
All right.
Go see the damn movie.
Go see the damn movie.
If you want to call us out on us being wrong or more things you want to talk about, feel free to leave a comment on the post that we will eventually put up on our antimedia.com or our Facebook page, either one.
Yep.
Cool. Tell us how you feel and whether or not I'm right on whether or not there should have been a lightsaber duel like every other Jedi movie ever.
Oh, real briefly, did you notice that Luke calls it a laser sword?
Yeah, he said a laser
Which
sword.
is,
I'm like, oh no.
George Lucas. That's what he always called it. Laser sword.
I mean,
I didn't like
it's not
that.
wrong.
I didn't like it.
It is wrong.
It is plasma. It is not a laser.
It's not. It's a field of plasma held together by magnets.
Powered by a crystal.
Maybe.
Holy shit! We was reading the trivia just real briefly for this movie.
Dun.
The golden dice are seen above the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope.
What?
Now I gotta
They
find
appear
them.
in one scene in the film before vanishing.
Huh.
Huh.
Interesting.
Strange. Well, on that note, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It's been a real treat.
Bye.
We really hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as well as our 3 other fun podcasts. Rant
Almost
On.
4.
Well, our other 3 podcasts, including this one, which would make 4, Todd. God damn it.
No, there are 5 total.
There's not 5 total.
There will be by the time
That this
we put
launches?
out another
No.
podcast.
No.
By the time we put out another podcast after this, there will be 5.
That's nice, but it's 4 right now.
What? What are you saying? Huh? I can't
It'll
hear
be
you.
5 in January.
Keep
Calm
talking.
down.
Just keep talking.
I already cut you guys out.
Oh, keep talking.
User was kicked out of your channel.
Bye. Thank you from
User in
everybody
your
here at
channel is
Ranting Media.
recording.
Merry Christmas.
You were moved.
I got kicked out. I love you people in the video.
You were moved.
It's all over.
Steal my thunder, son. What?
I was talking to the video people while I got kicked.
Oh, boo.
Podcast over.
Podcast over.